When you become aware of it, does this conditioning of race, religion, and culture bring a sense of imprisonment? Take only one form of conditioning, nationality, become seriously, completely aware of it and see whether you enjoy it or rebel against it, and if you rebel against it, whether you want to break through all conditioning. If you are satisfied with your conditioning, you will obviously do nothing about it, but if you are not satisfied when you become aware of it, you will realize that you never do anything without it. Never. And therefore you are always living in the past with the dead. You will be able to see for yourself how you are conditioned only when there is a conflict in the continuity of pleasure or the avoidance of pain. If everything is perfectly happy around you, your wife loves you, you love her, you have a nice house, nice children, and plenty of money, then you are not aware of your conditioning at all. But when there is a disturbance, when your wife looks at someone else or you lose your money or are threatened with war or any other pain or anxiety, then you know you are conditioned. When you struggle against any kind of disturbance or defend yourself against any outer or inner threat, then you know you are conditioned. And as most of us are disturbed most of the time, either superficially or deeply, that very disturbance indicates that we are conditioned. So long as the animal is petted, he reacts nicely, but the moment he is antagonized, the whole violence of his nature comes out. We are disturbed about life, politics, the economic situation, the horror, the brutality, the sorrow in the world as well as in ourselves, and from that we realize how terribly narrowly conditioned we are. And what shall we do? Accept that disturbance and live with it as most of us do? Get used to it as one gets used to living with a backache? Put up with it? There is a tendency in all of us to put up with things, to get used to them, to blame them on circumstances. Ah, if things were right I would be different, we say, or, give me the opportunity and I will fulfill myself, or, I am crushed by the injustice of it all, always blaming our disturbances on others or on our environment or on the economic situation. If one gets used to disturbance, it means that one's mind has become dull, just as one can get so used to beauty around one that one no longer notices it. One gets indifferent, hard, and callous, and one's mind becomes duller and duller. If we do not get used to it, we try to escape from it by taking some kind of drug, joining a political group, shouting, writing, going to a football match or to a temple or church, or finding some other form of amusement. Why is it that we escape from actual facts? We are afraid of death. I am just taking that as an example, and we invent all kinds of theories, hopes, beliefs, to disguise the fact of death, but the fact is still there. To understand a fact, we must look at it, not run away from it. Most of us are afraid of living as well as of dying. We are afraid for our family, afraid of public opinion, of losing our job, our security, and hundreds of other things. The simple fact is that we are afraid, not that we are afraid of this or that. Now why cannot we face that fact? You can face a fact only in the present, and if you never allow it to be present because you are always escaping from it, you can never face it, and because we have cultivated a whole network of escapes, we are caught in the habit of escape. Now, if you are at all sensitive, at all serious, you will not only be aware of your conditioning, but you will also be aware of the dangers it results in, what brutality and hatred it leads to. Why, then, if you see the danger of your conditioning, don't you act? Is it because you are lazy, laziness being lack of energy? Yet you will not lack energy if you see an immediate physical danger like a snake in your path, or a precipice, or a fire. Why, then, don't you act when you see the danger of your conditioning? If you saw the danger of nationalism to your own security, wouldn't you act? The answer is you don't see. Through an intellectual process of analysis, you may see that nationalism leads to self-destruction, but there is no emotional content in that. Only when there is an emotional content do you become vital. If you see the danger of your conditioning merely as an intellectual concept, you will never do anything about it. In seeing a danger as a mere idea, there is conflict between the idea and action, and that conflict takes away your energy. It is only when you see the conditioning and the danger of it immediately, and as you would see a precipice, that you act. So seeing is acting. Most of us walk through life inattentively, reacting unthinkingly according to the environment in which we have been brought up, and such reactions create only further bondage, further conditioning. But the moment you give your total attention to your conditioning, you will see that you are free from the past completely, that it falls away from you naturally.